Some sort of. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
Oh, wait, not that one.
Get ready. This summer, the Arena League Sports is on ASAP Network. Tune in live on either the Tiki Live or Roku app, as well as your smart home TV.
And then there's one more.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Between the Pipes podcast. I'm here today with Xander Weinstein. How are things going on your end?
Pretty good. It's been a little bit since we've been here, but
yeah, I did have to work a couple of Fridays. But I'm back this week, and ready to talk about some hockey. But
yes, sir.
Before we go ahead, this has to do with the first topic, but I want to fast back real quick. I did a live reaction show 6 days ago for the Colorado Avalanche and the Vegas Golden Knights hockey game. There was a fight that broke loose that involved a goalie towards the end of the game. So therefore, the ref took the goalie was taken out of the game. There was an open net. No goalie was being placed. And not once in that a minute and 30 minutes left of the game was anybody. Actually, I didn't see a defender. I didn't see anybody on that side of the field. And they were the one that had the empty goalie. We won, so I shouldn't be complaining. But
you were taking it back,
At the same time, I was kind of pissed.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, any of those shots that after McKinnon's goal could have been the put away for the game. I watched like the condensed game, like the highlights of it. I was watching it and I saw like the fight, and then I also saw there was nobody in there. And usually, like, I kind of get it, like with the empty net, but sometimes I feel like if you got a good enough offense, I think you can get it done without the empty net and without the extra attack.
I understand that, but here's where I have an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Backtrack a couple years ago. I don't remember who they were playing, but it was the New York Rangers who did this. They had a guy substitute as a goalie because their starter and their backup were both hurt.
Oh yeah, the emergency goalie.
They had I can't remember what he basically goes out smooths the ice. I can't remember what it was called. Zamboni driver? Zambonis, I think that's.
Oh yeah, the Zamboni driver that came.
Yeah, the Zamboni driver was the third goalie. My issue was, why didn't the Las Vegas Golden Knights have anybody like that? Much less, why didn't they put in their backup?
Again, they're probably just trying to go with that same strategy as like trying to get that extra attacker on. But I do agree with you. I don't know why they didn't bring anybody else out. I mean, there's still a minute left. Usually, you see like the empty net happen with like 40 seconds to go, 30 seconds, not a couple minutes left. I mean, I've very rare cases where I've seen like a couple minutes left, unless they're down a couple of goals. But
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this could be different if they were like, say, they were winning, 6-3 instead of the 3-2. But that just seems a little weird. But I don't think that was the weirdest part of that day. Well, it was the weirdest part of the game, but it wasn't the weirdest part of that day when it comes to hockey. We had a high-scoring affair going on at the same day. Final score: not Tampa Bay, Toronto won against the Detroit Red Wings, 10-7. Now, I didn't get a chance to see that game, well, other than maybe a couple of plays here or there. And Xander, go ahead. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I just want to kind of break down the game. It was a really high scoring game, so just kind of want to break it down a little. In the first period, William Nylander and Michael Bunting, they both scored early. Then Lucas Raymond for Detroit scored after that. And then afterwards, Mitch Marner pulls out a quick hat trick and three. And after that, it's pretty much history. They build up a 7-2 lead going into the third period. And knowing the Red Wings were not going to come back from a 7-2 deficit. But we did end up making it 8-7 somehow. A bunch of good goal scorers and I guess some lucky shots. But here's the issue with this game for me. Both goaltending was atrocious. I mean, Toronto's goaltending within the first two periods was pretty good. They only let up 2 goals, but then they let up almost 6 in the no, almost 5. Excuse me, 5 in the third period. That's not great, especially if you need to be a closing team because of the playoffs coming up. But it's obviously the Red Wings' major goaltending issues right now. I mean, they have a rookie or a second-year player in net, and then they have I think it's Thomas Price in net, who's kind of a veteran in this day and age. So it's all really chalked up to the goaltending in this game. I mean, clearly, if you're scoring 17 goals, but it was really mostly the Red Wings really need to improve their goaltending situation, especially in the first two.
I agree with you on that. It kind of actually reminds me. I know this was not as high score, obviously, but there was another game throughout this week, and again, I shouldn't be complaining because it wasn't another Avalanche game, but this complaint isn't towards the Avalanche, even though I shouldn't be saying this. The New York Islanders, that's who they played. They were beating them. They were beating them 3-2 with 2 minutes left in the game.
Yeah.
And we came back, scored 3 on them in the last 2 minutes, and we won 5 to. Actually, was it 5-2 or? Yeah, I think it was 5-3. Was the final. And yeah, they're. I think
and that's why the Islanders are on the bottom of the division this year.
My question is, my thing is that, I think that there's some of those where they have to have. I don't think that both with the Islanders and both with the Toronto Maple Leafs. I don't think. I mean, yes, obviously there was a little bit of a goaltending issue, but I wouldn't just blame it all on goaltending. I would blame part of it on the coaching staff too.
Yeah, no, I could see where the blame would fall on the coaching staff. Definitely, there needs to be a better scheme with especially in like closing moments of periods. There's got to be a better game there.
Even though the Detroit Red Wings lost, they were able to adjust and score. They were able to adjust and score 6. No, they were able to adjust. They were able to adjust and score 5. And then Colorado was able to adjust and score 3.
It's all about adjustments in the league.
Yes, especially this and soccer both. It's all about adjustments, especially since it's a very, very low scoring game, not like football, not like basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just pulling up the next topic real quick. Sorry about this. I have the topic list, but I
If you want, I can lead off for
yeah, I
that.
can have it. I have it. The contender and pretender for playoff teams. I'll let you go off first. Who do you
Sounds
think
good.
that's below? We'll start with contender first. Who do you think that might be a little bit more of an underdog with the remaining of the schedule?
So, when it comes to like underdogs, I kind of look within like the first three spots below the wild card for who's going to make it in.
Yeah, I see.
But so I mean, there's obviously Detroit and Columbus right now. They're kind of neck and neck for that last wild card spot in the East, but that wild card spot won't be taken. I mean, the wild cards pretty much the East is locked up at this point. They've got at least I think like a 10-point advantage, and as barring any major breakdowns from any teams, I think the East is locked up. So, but in the East, my contenders for the Cup would be Tampa Bay, Toronto, Boston, Carolina, Pittsburgh, and New York. The only reason why I say not the Panthers, who would most likely be the number one seed in the East, is because I think that with the way that they've been playing recently, they've made it to the playoffs a couple of years and then kind of stayed out of it
I
for
see what
another
you're
couple.
saying. Yeah.
I just don't think I see the Panthers going all the way in their like first breakout year. Maybe if next year they have a great year, they really build up on what they've done this year, I think that they can be a contender, but they got to make it through Tampa and Toronto. And I think that's going to be a very hard task for them.
When it comes to like playoff contenders, I can maybe see a chance, even though they're not. I think they're sitting at the fourth seed in the Pacific Division. I can see a chance about maybe Anaheim making a playoff chance, even though I don't think they're in the playoff picture right now.
I like that. Because Anaheim is really like trending upwards these days.
Yeah, I mean they're
playing the Golden Knights today.
Their last 10 is not great, but yeah, they're seeing a couple of games that it kind of I don't want to say surprised me a little, but it kind of did.
I mean, yeah, for any team, especially like the Ducks, who were pretty much bottom of the division last year. I mean, for any team, that's really good to see, and they've definitely surprised a lot of people. Honestly, don't count out Winnipeg or Vancouver either. They're both trending upwards right now. I've seen them both be playing, or both are playing some really good hockey in this final stretch. Maybe not final stretch, but in this stretch of after the All-Star game.
I got a weird phone call. I'm trying to figure out how to decline it from the laptop.
Totally fine. Speaking of the Jets, they are right now in overtime with the Stars.
Okay.
All right. While this is going on, let's try to update people on the scores. So today the Lightning beat the Red Wings 3-1. Top player was, it looks like, Victor Hedman. He had 3 assists, excuse me. Right now, the Golden Knights and the Ducks are tied up 1-1, 3 minutes to go in the first. Silverberg has his 4th of the year, and Hutton for the Golden Knights has his 2nd of the year.
Okay, I figured it out.
Sounds good. And just for the last one, the Jets and the Stars are right now 4 minutes left in overtime. They're tied up 3-3. Pretty interesting, though. Jets have 10 more shots on goal. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out.
Yes, I am looking more towards the. I know it's closer towards the end, but I'm looking more towards Ducks and Golden Knights. I do have a winner predicted, but I think that it might be a very close game. I have Golden Knights, but I think it might be a closer game.
Yeah, I think the Ducks are going to take it at home. They've been a really good home team this season. I've noticed that, so I think they're going to take it at home. But honestly, if these two are able to meet in a series, I'd love it. In the playoffs, I'd love that series. That'd be a great one.
And then so when it comes to contender of the Cup, yeah, that's what I was trying to say earlier. I kind of agree with you about Florida. and I feel like that they might be a team that may make a second round appearance, based off of the talent that they have on their roster.
Mhm.
The one thing they don't really lack is, team chemistry.
Not at all. Yeah, you're right on that
Yeah,
one.
not at all, and that's really key towards playoffs. I wouldn't say the same. I mean, when it comes towards going further on in the playoffs, but Colorado Avalanche, and they're another team that's probably going to be top on their division. But I wouldn't be surprised if I think that they might make maybe a Western final appearance, but I don't think they're going to make the cup either. I hate to say this against my team, but I don't think they're going to make the cup either because they did make a lot of changes. They kept Nathan McKinnon, but a lot of changes were done to their roster as well.
Yeah. I have speaking on the Avalanche, actually they're one of my contenders. I've seen the Avalanche this season, and even with the changes, I've seen like a really good played hockey from the team. But I also have the team just below them in the Western, and that's St. Louis. Because I mean, St. Louis has been here. They've been to the dance. I think they've won it too, right?
Yes, they did. They beat Boston. They beat Boston.
Yeah, they beat. So yeah, I could definitely see St. Louis making a run, maybe a little underdog run. Nashville and Minnesota, I can't really see them making it
I can't see
all the
Minnesota.
way.
I mean, obviously you can't see it earlier because you just mentioned that, but I can't see Minnesota. But there's one reason that stands out more than the rest.
What's that?
They struggle against their own teams in their own division.
Yeah.
And
I looked at their that was one thing that I looked at. I was like, who are they going to play in the
in fact, I looked it up.
the first
I mean,
round?
and this might be different because it was a couple of games since I looked it up. It was actually the day of the Super Bowl when I looked this up. But the only team that they have a better record when it comes to playing against teams in their own division is they have a better record than Arizona.
And that is a very low bar.
Yeah, they have better. Even Chicago, the Blackhawks have a better record than the Wild in their division.
The Blackhawks are a waning dynasty, unfortunately. Well, actually, not unfortunately. I was kind of tired of seeing the Blackhawks win, but also I'm a Red Wings fan, so I don't want to see the Blackhawks win ever. And one more contender that I got for this series, and that's Calgary. Calgary's really made a splash.
I was going to say that.
Calgary's really made a splash, and it'd be really interesting to see if they could play either like Pittsburgh or Tampa or Toronto, because I think those would be like my top three for the East, would be Pittsburgh, Tampa, or Toronto.
There's one team
they could play either of those. I think they would be. They could have a really good series and possibly win.
One team I have as a contender, not as a cup contender, but I do have as a team that I think is going to make a deep run in the playoffs contender, and this might surprise you a little bit, but maybe the New York Rangers.
That doesn't surprise me because they'd either have to go through Pittsburgh, who they've proven they could beat at home and away this season. But they'd also either that or they'd have to go through the Capitals, and we all know how the Capitals perform in the playoffs, barring 2020. So
yeah, that's true. 2020 they did really well. No, actually, it was
2019.
Yeah, it's 2019 because 2020 was St. Louis.
Yeah, right. No, right. It was the Washington Nationals that won the World Series, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Got completely confused there. But yeah, no. In 2019, I saw the Capitals win the Stanley Cup, and I'm like, that right there is a fluke. There's no way that's happening again. But yeah, I could see New York going for a deep run. In fact, I can honestly see him. I don't think I can see him winning the cup, but I could definitely see him in the cup.
That year was crazy because that's actually the only year in NHL history. Just a quick stat out there. That's the only year in NHL history where both 8 seed teams have beaten the both number 1 seed teams.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. That was really crazy. I remember hearing about that.
Colorado beat Calgary. Colorado beat Calgary, and then Columbus Blue Jackets completely swept Tampa Bay.
That was like the biggest shocker of the playoffs. I was just like, wow, Columbus. And then I think, did Columbus get swept the next round, or did they get like beat 4-1 or something like that?
It
Like
was
they were not ready.
I think it was 4-2.
Regardless, they were not ready for the next round.
Yeah, yeah.
They're
It
like,
was
all right, we beat Tampa. What now?
it was interesting because a year later, Columbus played Tampa in the first round again.
Yeah.
Going into the last topic, which going into the last topic was the Calder Trophy predictions. Who do you have for that?
Okay, so right now, top 5 for odds according to the Vegas Sportsbook is Trevor Zegras and Mo Sider are both tied at number 1 with 220 with plus 225. Lucas Raymond is under him at number 2 with plus 250, and then it's kind of a huge drop off after that. Michael Bunting with plus 17 or plus 700 from the Maple Leafs, and Anton Lundell from who is Lundell? Can't remember. I think it was Chicago. I don't know off the top of my head right. Oh no, it's Florida. Excuse me. And he's at plus 1,000. But right now, I think Sider will win only because the way that he's been trending in the second half of the season. I think he has either 5 or 6 assists in his last 4 or 5 games. So he's really like starting to put in that offensive work, and I'm really liking it. I think Zegras will stay like kind of neck and neck with him. I definitely think that there's not going to be some clear winner, but I think that they'll just edge it over Sider because of his defensive contribution. Because this guy is an offensive defenseman, and I cannot wait for him. So so for the prediction, Mo Sider will win it.
I keep going back and forth between a couple of guys, but I think that both of these guys both play for the same team, and that's your team, actually, Detroit Red Wings. Sider and Raymond.
Sider and Raymond, yes.
Yeah, I keep going for that, but to answer that question, I'm going to go with Sider as well.
Sider, yeah. He's just been such an impactful defenseman, and you don't see those a lot these days. You see like really, really like stacked forwards, and which is why Lucas Raymond I don't think is getting that much attention. I think he has almost 30 assists and over 15 goals on the season. So he's been doing really well, but I just Sider's defensive contribution, and as well as like his offense on defense contribution has been just unmatched. I mean, it's for rookie defensemen, it's him and Cale Makar who've had 2 standout rookie seasons. So I'm really excited for Sider next season because if there's anything like Makar, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, Cale Makar, I think I'm going to have to look this up, but I think Cale Makar is actually leading Colorado in goals. I don't remember exactly.
If he is, I would not be surprised, just because he was so.
I will say this: he is not leading Colorado in assists, but I can't remember if it was points or goals.
Here, I'm actually getting that up.
I think Nathan McKinnon is leading Colorado in assists because he has 30 something.
I would also think that he was leading them in points. I mean, usually he does. Who's leading?
And Nathan McKinnon is definitely not leading in points this year.
Oh no, yeah. Kadri.
No, sorry, he's definitely not leading in goals. He's definitely not leading in goals this year.
Yeah, no. What's his name? Kadri's leading in points. I'm trying to figure out who leads teams, who leads your team in assists. That's where he was. He used to be ahead of Nazem Kadri with 41, but then Kadri had a huge stretch. Now he's got 46. So he's kind of
okay.
But he does have 35 plus minus, so it's not bad. And some of the best time on ice on your team.
Yeah, I think it's insane. And I'm going to take back what I said. But every time I say this comes back and bites me on the butt. So I think Colorado might go out and win the Stanley Cup this year.
Yeah. As I said, Colorado and Calgary were two of my favorites. I mean, Colorado's been doing stuff. I mean, they've been an amazing team for the past 2 years.
Let me
now.
rephrase the statement I just made. Every
Right.
time I say this, it comes back and bite me in the butt. I'm not talking about every time I say like every year Colorado goes out and wins the state. No, I'm not saying that.
Right. No.
Every time
totally
I change my statements, it comes back and bites me on the butt.
Oh my God, it happens the same thing with me. Every time I say, "Oh yeah, the Red Wings got this game," they'll get blown out like 7-1, and I'll be like, "All right, not gonna say anything anymore." I'm just gonna say, "Yeah, no, we're gonna lose, and hopefully we win 8-1." But yeah, as I was just before we get to, I think, the final takes. Yeah, I think my two favorite. Who would be your favorite for the Stanley Cup as of right now? East or West?
To win it?
Yeah.
Or, yeah. I don't mean to be a homer, but I'm going to have to do it. Colorado.
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, that's my favorite. It was between them and the Flames, but I think Colorado has the advantage.
Really, the only thing that we needed last year, the only way I can see we lose is if we lose to Vegas.
Yeah, I could see it. But honestly, I think you guys will handle Vegas. I mean, the first thing, if you do have to play Vegas, your first 2 games are at home.
That's true.
So that's a plus. You guys are a very good home team. Very good. I mean, the Red Wings just played the Avalanche, I think, a couple of weeks ago at home, and we got beat 5-2. And I'm just like, really? We could have done a little bit
We're
better.
very good both, because I think that we have 5 losses on the road. And then 5.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
see what you're
taking
saying.
you guys' word. I'm just saying you guys excel at home at a
I see what you're
place where I'm
saying.
just
We
like,
recently just lost, but
yeah, no.
that's just it's
got to happen. Can't
Yeah.
go undefeated at home, unfortunately.
But who we beat from the East? I'm gonna have to go with my underdog pick, maybe New York. If not New York, then maybe Tampa or Florida, one of those two.
I like that. I definitely say probably my favorite would be Colorado at this point, just because, I mean, right now, in my opinion, are the best team in the NHL. But as for who they beat, I could see like a really sneaky Boston Bruins wild card appearance in the Stanley Cup. But honestly, I think Tampa's going to go for a third straight one, but they're not going to win. I think they'll go to their third straight Stanley Cup, but they're not going to win. I think their luck is up when it comes to winning.
I'm trying to think in professional sports. Now, I'm not just talking about hockey. I'm talking about professional sports.
Mm-hmm.
I think really the only 2 teams to win to make it to their final appearance period would be the Celtics and the Lakers. It's very hard to do for NBA basketball.
Oh yeah.
I think they're the only 2 teams to make it to 3 consecutive appearances. No, scratch that. Patriots did it too, I think.
Bills also in the 90s.
Yeah,
they
Bills
did
too.
They didn't win it though.
Yeah, they didn't win it.
Which is the thing. Which is that if that's what you're going on, then I just made a very stupid comment. But if we weren't going on that and we're just going by like straight finals appearances, then yeah, the Bills had 4.
Yeah, Patriots didn't win all 3 of them, but they did make 3 consecutive.
Yeah, wasn't it pretty recently, right? 52 or 51, 52, and 53?
They played the Falcons, beat the Falcons, lost to the Eagles, and then beat the Rams.
And then beat the Rams, yeah. Yeah, so that was recently.
So then maybe there's some baseball teams here and there, but baseball's been back for so
Definitely,
long.
I gotta say like the Yankees.
Yankees, maybe Dodgers, maybe.
Probably the Dodgers at some point. Who else is like a really good baseball story? I'm not like the biggest on baseball. I'm just starting to get into it like heavily, so I'm sort of still a little meh on the historical aspects of it.
I'm more into like Major League than minor league, but I do have a minor league team.
Oh.
Major League, I follow. Yeah, don't ask. I have 3.
I mean, honestly, I used to root for every team under the sun, so there's no judgment here.
Well, okay, so here's why. Here's why. I started off being a Colorado Rockies fan because, born in Colorado, everything Colorado I root for.
Right.
Moved to Texas. Actually moved to Oregon, then moved to Texas. Grew up in Texas. Started following the Rangers because in 2012, I delivered the game ball and rose it back to the pitcher's plate in the Rangers Stadium before they played their game against the Seattle Mariners.
Mm-hmm.
Met half the people on that roster. Got autographs.
Nice.
I met a lot of people.
Yeah,
got autographs for a lot of people. So, Rangers fan. Then I also found out that I'm related to a reporter for the Seattle Mariners.
Nice.
Not current. He passed away, unfortunately. But so yeah, Mariners, Rangers, and Colorado Rockies.
Not bad. You can't. I mean, honestly, there's no real rift between any of those teams. I don't think. So it's not like you're rooting for 2 rivals. It's not like you're saying "Hey, yo, I'm gonna root for the Phillies and the Mets." It's not like you're doing that.
Even though the Rangers and the Mariners are in the same division, they're not really rivals.
They're not really rival. I wouldn't really consider that a rivalry.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody sits down and says, "Oh, Rangers, Mariners, gotta watch this one."
Any final thoughts before we give this a close?
Not really. Just my final take is just watch out for the 3 main guys on the Calder list. I mean, those young guys are going to be the future of the league. So just be vigilant, be watchful, and watch as the magic unfolds with the young talent that's heading to the NHL.
Yeah, I have something similar to watch out for. Actually, I don't know when the date is, but NHL trade deadline is coming up.
Oh,
so
yeah.
We have a lot to talk about there.
Oh, yeah. We're definitely going to.
Yeah. So this has been another episode of the Between the Pipes podcast. You can find this on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. You can find us on a lot of different places. You can find other shows on the you can find other shows on the Fox D Network streaming channel. You can on the Roku TV channel thing, streaming service. And,
all the streaming services across Platinum.
And you can also find us on Tiki Live. I played the AAL Arena League because I am so excited for that coming in 2023.
Oh yeah, that's really be super exciting for us.
Really anxious for that, and just to remember to. Alright, we'll play the
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. We talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your